Hello, class. My name is Mr. Gibson, and I will be your instructor for Math 131 this semester. In this class, before I get started, we have an SI, a supplemental instructor. Her name is Aaliyah. I believe it's Aaliyah or Alea, and she will.
Aaliyah.
I'm sorry.
Yep, Aaliyah. You're
Aaliyah.
right.
Okay. It is Aaliyah, and Aaliyah will be here to assist us because both of our job is to make sure that you all have a very successful time in this course. So what I want to do during this first class here, I would like to go over all of the material in the class. And if we do have the time to go over some lessons tonight, that will be fine. But if not, I would love to get the technical things out of the way so you would know how to navigate this course. Now, first things first, every course will be, every class session will be recorded. So after the class session is recorded, if there's no technical issues, I will upload it to YouTube and send you all the link. So for those of you that may not can make it to class, or those of you that are in class and maybe need to rewatch it, you will have the link to see the video. Now, another thing that I want to say, if you decide to come to class at the Big Blue Button session, when you sign in, I need you to sign in using the mic, not the headphones. And the reason why I want you to use the mic instead of the headphones, you may find yourself in a situation where you would need to say something to me, and you cannot say anything to me with the headphones. And as far as typing a message in the chat, when I'm teaching, I may not be able to look at the chat. So I may miss your question. Whereas if you have the mic on, you can mute it so, you can't be heard, but you will still hear what's going on. But you can unmute yourself and say, hey, Mr. Gibson, look at the chat. And then I could look at the chat real quick and see whatever question you may have. So that's why I require everyone that comes to Big Blue Button to please have on the mic. And Rion, can you please sign out and sign in, please? Sign out and then sign back in with the mic, please. Okay, now the next thing that we're going to do is this here. I am going to go over JetNet with you all first, and then we will make our way to the syllabus. Okay, so now on JetNet, if you look here, this is our class from JetNet, and I had the welcome address. You could read that at your leisure. And now we're going to get down to getting started. When you click here on getting started, we have here the CAM Scanner app. Now you have what is called Learning Check assignments that you all will have to scan and turn into me. Now, Cam Scanner is a free app for your cell phone, whether you have an iPhone or whether you have an Android. This video shows you how to download the app and also shows you how to scan on the app. Okay, next, the class introduction. Basically, what I'm doing now is what I did in the class introduction, but I just wanted to redo it so that you all could see that. Okay, the syllabus, I'm going to go over the syllabus after I go through JetNet. So this is where you can find the syllabus and the syllabus video, and then also the Desmos video because you are going to be using Desmos in this course. Now, the My Math Lab access instructions, we will be going over that as far as signing into My Math Lab, and I do have your course ID right here. So you would need this course ID when you sign into My Math Lab. And there is a video, but I am going to go over that tonight as well. Okay, now, actually, hold on, I need to change one thing here. I need to switch my role to a student so it'll look exactly like what you all are looking at because I had it on the instructor side. Okay, so we get here to the My Math Lab instructions, and then we have the ask a question. I will go through and read the questions that were asked, but the ask a question is not for a grade. And then the classroom cafe, I think I'm going to take that down. You really don't need that because every week you will have a big blue button that you can hit, and then you will be able to access me for the class. Okay, so this is week one. All of my weeks are broken up into tabs here. So now this is getting started. We're in the midst of week one. So you will click on week one. Now, on week one, of course, most of you are here at the big blue button, but those of you that are not here, I want to show you the process of accessing big blue button, just in case you don't know. You will click on whatever week we're in and click on the synchronized session link. And then you will click on join session. And when you join the session, it typically gives you two options. There's a microphone option or a listen only option. Please, everyone pick the microphone option. All you have to do is click on the microphone option and then press mute. But when you click on the microphone option, it's typically going to ask you a question. Let's see if the question will pop up. Oh, it didn't pop up here. Okay, well, it says here all you click yes.
Okay, I'm getting a little feedback because I already started. So let me.
You are now muted.
I think you're echoing.
Yes.
Yes, I know. I'm about to get myself out of here. Let me see. Two.
Okay. I had to leave the meeting because I'm already signed in. But that was just to give you an understanding of how to sign into Big Blue Button for those of you that are not in the class right now. Now, the next thing, I told you all about the learn and check assignments. Just to give you an overview of what the learn and check assignments are about. The learn and check assignments are basically assignments that I'm going to give you out of your textbook. We are going to work those assignments during our class time, and you're going to break up into groups and you're going to work with those problems. I'm going to give you a certain amount of time to work those problems, and then and then at the end of class, I'm going to go over those problems with you so that you can have a working idea of what the answers were supposed to be and how to solve the problems. Now, I may not go over every single problem, but I will go over just about all of the problems. Now, for those of you that may miss a class as far as a synchronized class, when we're doing these learning check assignments, because we do learning check assignments for every class period. So if you're not here, you will have to do the learning check assignment by yourself, and you would just scan it and then upload it. So like for instance, this week we need to do learning check 101, 102, 103, and 14. So you would click here, like say you did it, you scanned it, and then what you would do, well actually they have we have the paper here. Maybe it will. Okay, class, there are some worksheets in here with the learning check, but what I'm going to do is this here. Each video in each class, I will let you know which learning check assignments to do, because either I will have you do the worksheet that's presented here, or I will have you work out of the textbook. So what I'm going to do here for the first few sections, I'm going to have you work out of the textbook. And what I would do with the textbook, I will give you the problems to do out of the textbook, because I think with the textbook, I think that will give you actually a lot more problems that you can try that would be more related to a lot of the exams that we have. Okay, so what I would do is this here. Okay, say we work in a textbook. you scan what we have in the textbook, and then what you would have to do, you see the due date here is Wednesday, September 1st. Now I may actually change that because that's actually tomorrow, and this is our first time going through it. So I may change it to Thursday for the 1-1 and 1-2. So then you would click on Add Submission, and then what you would do here, you would just go here to Files. You would either drag it or you would click on the file and then choose the file from your computer. Okay, I have a question here in the chat. It says, I have a quick question. How much time do we have for assignments once they are assigned? It just depends on the assignment. Some assignments you probably would have a day. Some assignments you may have 3 or 4 days. It just really depends on the assignment. So I cannot just say that you would just have assignment only one day or 2 days. It just depends on the assignment. And it also depends on how far we go with the lesson in the class. Okay, so going back to week 1. So that is how you would submit the learning checks. Now the Desmos projects, we are going to get to those, but the Desmos projects, the only thing you're going to put here on Desmos, after you go, you would click and then you'll go to Add Submission. And then what you would do, where you see the online text, you will paste a website there, and then you will submit it to me. You will put Save Changes. You will, because you're going to copy the link and then paste the link and click Save Changes. And I will be able to check your Desmos projects from the link that you provide me. And I will show you how to go about doing the link. Okay, now, let's see. So that's basically week 1. Now this cluster, chapter 1, cluster 1 pre-assessment, MML means My Math Lab. So that is where the assignment will be coming from. So when you click here, it'll take you to My Math Lab and you will have to sign in. Now I am going to go through signing up for My Math Lab because everyone in here has not signed up for My Math Lab yet. So I will have you all do that today. Okay, so now that's week 1. Now what I want to do, let's see. Okay, if you look here at week 3, week 3 has a link for the preparation for exams lockdown browser. Now you are going to be using Respondus. Respondus is actually located in My Math Lab because if I click here, it's going to take me to My Math Lab. Load My Math Lab, and that lockdown browser would allow you to be able to take these exams online because the browser will also monitor you as you take the exam. Now, if I were you, when we get to My Math Lab, I'm going to show you where you could go on My Math Lab to be able to test your computer. Not tonight, but you would be able to, well, not tonight during class, but you would be able to go and test your computer at a later time so that you would be able to see whether or not you can use Respondus. If you cannot use Respondus, then I will have to think of another way of you being able to take the exam. Okay, so as you see here, we have the learning checks, we have the Desmos project, we have links to My Math Lab for whatever assignment. And I believe that that's basically it as far as JetNet is concerned. Now, I see another question. It says, will we be able to use a calculator or pen and paper in the exams? You will be able to use a calculator and pen and paper for the exam. Now, as far as a note sheet is concerned, because I have been asked that before, the note sheet, it'll be whatever I provide you. So if there's notes that you need for the exam, I will be the one to provide it for you. So you will have that. Let me see. Okay, someone asked the question, where do we find the textbook for the learning checks? Okay, quick question. None of you have received your textbook yet? Okay.
No.
All right, now they are supposed to be sending out textbooks, but I will show you how you will be able to have access to the textbook right now. So I'll show you that before we leave class today. And listen, and I like to do a little time stamp here. Since there are a lot of you here, and I'm glad that you are here, but if I do not let you know how to access the textbook by 7 o'clock, someone please let me know, and I'll stop whatever I'm doing to let you know where to access the textbook. Okay. Now, the next thing, the final exam. I want to let you all know this. With the final exam, everyone is required to take the final. There are going to be two parts to the final exam. There's going to be a Desmos portion and there's going to be a My Math Lab portion. So with the Desmos portion, it will be similar to the projects you're doing for this class. The My Math Lab portion will be similar to the exams that you're doing with this class, which means that you will have to use responders. Okay, so I do see that two students said that they have the textbook digitally. So that is how I will show you how to do it as well. That's what I was going to show to the class. Now, someone asked me about the paper. They said, you mean no scrap paper to solve on. And they're talking about the exam. Yes, you can have scratch paper, but this is what I would need you to do. With responders, you're supposed to have a camera. So when you sit down to take the exam, and once responders start, I would need you to hold up your paper to show that it is blank. And I'm saying at the start, not after you start the test. You must show it as soon as responders start. You need to show that your paper is blank. Okay. So, with that being said, I think the next thing that I want to go to is the syllabus. So, let me go here to the syllabus. And then after we do the syllabus, we're going to go to My Math Lab.
I'm sorry, you said for the final we're proctored. Are we not proctored on every like I guess just like
Okay, as
chapter
far as
test
the
too?
proctoring, that's where responders comes in at. Now, I will have times that, like, for people that cannot take the exam with responders, then what would end up happening is you would have to take it with me, and I would schedule a time for you all to show up to be able to take the exam, and I will proctor you.
Okay, so we can't have like any like scrap paper just on regular tests. Like I'm not talking about the final, just
No, you can
the
every
tests like
exam
throughout
you can
the
have scratch paper.
semester.
But what I was saying is if you're using
Oh,
responders,
okay.
you need to show that the scratch paper is blank. Yeah, yes, that's what I
Right.
was
Yeah,
saying.
I
That's for
understand.
all the
Right.
exams. Okay. Any other questions about the exams or anything? So okay. So Ms. Wilson, I did answer your question. Okay. Okay. Great.
Yes.
Okay. Now we come here to the syllabus. All right. Now, the syllabus, of course, as I showed you on JetNet, it is available to you. You can download it. Yeah, the number of credits is 4. We meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 to 8 p.m. Now, again, I would say this to everyone. Meeting face to face is optional. It's recommended because you could come to class and get questions answered, or you could actually watch me teach live in the class going over your assignments. but everything will be recorded. So I'm just letting you know that the meetings in class are optional because this is an online course. Now, the meetings will be via Big Blue Button, just like we got on today. And of course, you know, my name is Mr. Gibson. And for you to contact me, it's best that either you email me or call me on my cell phone. Now, I do have to provide my office phone, but sometimes I have to leave my office and do, you know, whatever around the school. And if you call, you may have to leave a message, and I may not be back in the office for a little while. Like for instance, on Wednesday. Wednesday is the last day of the week that I go up to the school. So if you call after the time that I leave on Wednesday, it's possible I wouldn't be able to get to your message until the following Monday if you leave a message on the office phone. So you could call or text me on my cell phone, and then I would try and get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, now the next thing, my office hours. I have in-person office hours at McDivitt Building on campus, on Central Campus, and the time is from 9:30 to 11 on Monday and Wednesday. Those are my only times for in-person office hours. Now, the Big Blue Button sessions, like say you do have a question, and say that your question is not during our class. Our class is 6 to 8. So, you know, doing 6 to 8, that's our regular meeting time anyway on Tuesday, Thursday. But say you have a class in the middle of the day, a question in the middle of the day on Tuesday and Thursday. So from 1 to 3 p.m., I have another synchronized class, but you can come to that class and ask your question. If you come to the class to ask your question, you will need to put it in the chat. You still would sign in with your mic and let me know to look at the chat, and then I will answer your question once I get that class started. Now, if you do want to meet me in the Big Blue Button sessions from the 1 to 3 p.m., you need to let me know the day of, because I will have to send you a link in order for you to be able to join that class, because the link for this class does not work for the other class. So just to let you know that. Now, the synchronized sessions, you know, you can read those at your leisure. I want to drop down to let me see, actually the grading scale. Okay, the grading scale here. In order for you to pass this course, you must at least have a 2.0, which is a 70%. The 70% is the lowest grade that you can get in order to pass this course. Okay, so with that being said, we can look at the breakdown of the assignments. On My Math Lab, we have quizzes, and they're worth 5% of your grade. We have the learning checks, which I just told you would be a combination of getting problems from your book and also the worksheets that are available. The My Math Lab homework, the homework is actually optional. As you see, the homework on My Math Lab is 0%. So that is an optional assignment. So the assignments that you would be actually graded on from the My Math Lab would be the quizzes, the chapter exams, and the final exam. They would be on My Math Lab. Now, the Desmos projects, as you see here, the Desmos projects is worth 40% of your grade. Now, there are actually 30 Desmos projects. So those 30 projects is worth 40% of your grade. And then the chapter exams, we have 5 chapters, so it's 5 exams, and that's worth 30% of your grade. And then, of course, the final exam, which is broken up into 2 parts, those 2 parts together is equal to 20% of your grade. Now, going back up here, if we go back here, this gives us a description of the assignments from the grading procedures. So it gives a description of each one of these assignments, and also about the Desmos projects. And then it also tells you about the Desmos calculator, which we're going to get to in just a second. Okay, now it also tells us here that chapter exams will be timed. So you have the time lengths vary and range between 90 to 150 minutes. Just depends on the exam. Okay, next we have here about the respondents quiz. It says failure to complete the respondents quiz on time may result in instructor initiated drop. Now I'm going to show you when we get to My Math Lab the deadline to take the respondents quiz to see if that works for you. So we will go over that. Okay, now as far as the homework on My Math Lab, just to let you know, the homework could be practice for you. Even though it is available, it's not graded as far as your grade is concerned, but it could be good practice for you. All right. Now the attendance participation policy, basically, because this is an online course, your attendance and participation is basically you completing the said assignments that we have for the week. So you complete some of those assignments, that would be considered participation and attendance for the course. Okay, the academic honesty, basically don't plagiarize, don't cheat. Now we have the accessibility. You know, if you have any type of disability or need any type of accommodations, you can go to the accessibility web page or the Center for Student Success web page, and it will give you an outline of what you need to do to get those services. And then also academic advising will also do that as well. Now the absence policy. Okay, now as far as the synchronized class sessions, remember this class is considered an online class, even though we do have synchronized sessions. But it is highly recommended that you attend the synchronized session, but they are not required for this course. Okay, so let me see. Okay, the incomplete policy, you can read that at your leisure. Okay, the extra credit policy, just to make it easy, there is no extra credit for this course. That's a math department policy. Now, if you need help with the course, you can possibly get together with a study group. You and some people in the class could click on this bit.ly link and try and form your own study group. And then also we have the different resources here. My office hours, I'll be able to help you. The Center for Student Success, supplemental instructor, Aaliyah, and My Math Lab, there's videos and extra problems that you can do and sample exams and so on that you could do on My Math Lab. Now we have our important dates here. We got the beginning of the fall semester. We got the Labor Day holiday. And then we have Thanksgiving holiday and the end of the fall semester, which is December 18th. Now, for our classes, we meet Tuesdays and Thursdays. Your last day in this class will be December 16th. So that would be our official last day for this course. Now we have the calendar. We have the different sections that we have to cover here. And as you see, this week we're supposed to do 1-1 through 1-4. And then we may have to tweak week 2 because we're not affected by Labor Day because we meet on Tuesday, Thursdays. So we may have to add a few more assignments there, but basically this calendar is correct. Okay, now, and it also shows you the dates of the exams and also the final exam, when those due dates are. Now, the Desmos projects, and this is why this syllabus is like 35 pages long, because I included the Desmos projects on here as well. Now, I'm going to go through how to submit the Desmos projects, but here it shows you here the different Desmos projects. Okay, for chapter 1, it has the due dates here. So this is due September 3rd, and then you will have to do this in Desmos and then submit it to me via your via the link that you would get. Okay, and so on. So we have one that's due this week, and then next week we have 2 that's due next week. Projects 2 and 3, and so on, all the way up to project 30. So you could always look at the syllabus to know basically what you need to do for the Desmos projects. Okay, now we're done with the syllabus. Does anyone have any questions about the syllabus? So everyone is fine with the syllabus. All right. So we talked about Desmos. So I'm going to go over Desmos first, and then we will go to the My Math Lab. All right. So Desmos, you will need to go to desmos.com, and you need to set up an account. Now, when you come here to desmos.com to set up an account, all you will have to do is click on sign up, and this will come up. Now, they have external account. If you have a Google account you don't mind using or an Apple account you don't mind using, all you would need to do is click both of these here and click on sign up with Google, and then you would just have to give your Google email, Google password, and then it would sign you in. And then the same thing is sign up with Apple. Now, if you don't have those 2 accounts, you can click on email address. It's basically the same check-in, and then you will add an email and a password for yourself. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to sign in. I'm going to log in with my Google account. And as you see with me logging in with my Google account, my name popped up. Now we're going to go to the graphing calculator. Now, with the graphing calculator, I'm going to show you how to navigate a little bit through the Desmos and how you will end up getting the link that you will send to me. Okay, first of all, say you're asked to do a few folders. So you will hit the plus sign, and well, let's first go to the note. Say they want you to put a note here like your name. So I put my name here, Jerome Gibson. Okay, so the next line, they want you to add a folder. So we have our folder. I don't know why it jumped like that, but we have our folder. Now you could put here folder, let's just say number 1. Now, with you having a folder, you want certain items to go into this folder. So for the item to go into this folder that you want, after you type the name of your folder, you'll press enter. Now you see how these lines are here. These lines will represent that everything that you type in here will go inside of that folder until you break the line. So let's say that you had 56, and then you had, let me see, let's say we wanted to add a table or something. Oh, for some reason it's, okay. So I would have to drag the table down, and then it's in the folder here. So now we have a table. Let's say we wanted to plot 0.56, and then also 0.78. Now, if you notice here, you see these points are on the graph. So we have this in the folder, and let's just say we need to type in, let me see, add in a note. I don't know if this is specifically to Microsoft Edge, but typically it doesn't jump around like this. So let's just say we would do yes. Okay, so let's say this is the end of the folder. What you could do here, do not press enter. You would just click to the next line, and then now you broke through with this folder. So that folder is complete. So let's say you wanted to add another folder. Yeah, it's acting a little tricky here. But okay, let's say we add another folder. So we'll put folder 2, press enter, and we'll start the process over again. Let me press 6. Okay, and let's say that you're done now. All right, now first of all, we need to save this. So we'll press save, and then you could title your graph. You could just say whatever it says. I think it's like DTP something. So let's say if I say DTP 100, and that's the name of this assignment, DTP 100. Okay, so now I will click here to share the graph, and then I'll click copy. So now I copied the link. So if we go back here to my math lab, and let's say that it was to JetNet. Let's say it was Desmos Project 1. I will go to add submission, and then here with the online text, I would paste it, and then all I would have to do is click save changes, and it would send it directly to me, and then I would be able to look at your graph. Okay, so are there any questions on Desmos? Any questions on Desmos? Okay. All right, so now our next step. So you know how to do Desmos, you know how to set up the account, and then you know how to put the web link in. So now our next step is we need to do My Math Lab. So you need to go to mymathlab.com, and this page will come up. Okay, so now with mymathlab.com, if you're not registered, you have to click on student. Then you have to click on OK, register now. And then if we go back here under the getting started or your syllabus, I put the My Math Lab code here. This is the code you would need for My Math Lab. So we could go back here, paste that code in here, press continue. Now, if you look over here, it gives our class numbers here, and it also gives my name, and that our course ends December 17th, 2021. Okay, now we come to signing up for this. It says here, if you want to sign in with your Pearson account, let's say you already had a Pearson account. You can use that username and password, press sign in, and then go from there. But most people, when I get them in my classes, they have never had a Pearson account before. So you have to click create, and then you will need to put your username, your email address, and so on. But listen, with your email address, because sometimes I do send messages through my math lab, I would suggest that you put in an email that you actually use. And then after you put in the email that you actually use, a lot of times myself, I would use my email as my username, because if it's an email you actually use, that's something that's easy for you to remember. And then for your password, when you look here at your password, it tells you there has to be 8 characters, 1 letter, 1 number, 1 capital letter, and it cannot be any special characters. Now, as far as, let me see something. If I go, okay, now, this is what I want to talk to you all about. A lot of people, when they do passwords, they type in the password believing that they typed the password in correctly, what they wanted. And then they would just copy the password and then put it under the re-enter password. I'm asking you not to do that. The reason why I'm asking you not to do that is because if you type in the wrong password and you just copy and paste the wrong password, you're not going to know what password that you put in. So I would suggest you type it both times, because the odds of you making a mistake twice is most likely wouldn't happen. At least when you get a flag on it, you will know to go back and check and make sure that you make sure what mistake you may have made. Now, another thing with your password, I would suggest that you text your password to yourself, because I do not have access to your password. So if you can't get into your account, you're going to have to contact Pearson and try and get them to pull up your password or reset your account. So I'm just telling you to text it to yourself so you will know what the password is. Okay, now you need to give your first and last name. Now, some people like to use a chosen name or a preferred name instead of the name that will be on my roster. If you decide to use a chosen name, you just need to let me know what is your name on my roster so I would know who I'm grading. Because if you have your name in here, I don't know whose name the name would be associated with. So, like I said, there's nothing wrong with you using your preferred name. That's fine. But I just need to know what is the name on the roster that goes your with the name you're choosing to use your preferred name, so I would grade the right person. Now, as far as your security question and security answer, that's something you have to choose on your own. Now, after you fill all this out, you will click I agree. And then on this next line here, it says, if one or more of these apply to you, you are supposed to click that. It says, I'm enrolled in middle or high school. I'm under the age of 18. I reside outside the United States. Now, if none of those apply to you, you don't check that box. But if one of those apply to you or more, then you will have to click that box. Now, if you want to receive Pearson products and Pearson promotions, don't check this box. They will send it to your email. But if you don't want to receive it, you need to check that box so you won't receive their information. And then you will click on create account. Now, here's one little issue. Because I am the instructor of this course, it wouldn't make sense for me to create an account for my own course. So I'm going to tell you what to do after you create your account. After you create your account, they're going to take you to a screen that's going to ask you for your access code. Now, if you have your access code, you just click on it, go right there, type in your access code, and then submit it, and then you're fine. But if you don't have the access code, you will need to go below what looks like some folders or books, and there's a link there that gives you 14-day free access to MyMathLab until you get the permanent code. So I would suggest that you do that, because those 14 days, you will still be allowed to navigate everything that MyMathLab has to offer. So it would not be, a light version or anything. It's the full version. It's just free for those 2 weeks, and then you need the access code. Now, as soon as you get the access code, you should type it in. You do not have to wait till the 2-week period is over. Just type in the code and then you'll be fine. Okay, now, are there any questions as far as the setup of getting on MyMathLab? Okay, now, no one has a question on the setup. I see someone has a question about the access code, but I will answer that. But everyone is okay with the setup of MyMathLab. Okay, so as far as the access code, you will need to go to the bookstore to get the access code. So that is where you would get your permanent access code. Okay, now now I want to go through some of the features of MyMathLab. So let me go ahead and sign in myself. Okay, someone said that they checked their school email from the bookstore, and that's where they were sent their MyMathLab code. So everyone check. If you have not gotten a MyMathLab code, check your email from the bookstore first, because they may have sent you the code. If not, you will need to reach out to the bookstore to get your code. Okay. Now, you will go to your course here after you sign in and click on it. Now, mine look a little different than yours do, but you will be able to see the assignments in the calendar. So now I'm going to have you all look at the different assignments. You have this chapter 1 cluster pre-assessment, and then you see these homework assignments. Now remember, the homework assignments are optional. So if you don't want to do them, you don't have to. They could be good practice, but you're not required to do them. What you are required to do is the preparation for exams, the lockdown browser, which is Respondus. Now on the side here, it tells us the due date. So for the Respondus, the due date is September 20th. So by September 20th, you should have taken this preparation for exams. Now, if you don't take it by then I will have to drop you from the course. All right, now, if you take it by then and you notice that Respondus does not work on your computer, then you need to reach out to me, and then I will take the necessary steps. Now, if Respondus does not work on your computer, then what will end up happening is you will have to come to one of my sessions where I proctor the exam. Now, okay, Rachel, quick question. You said that yours does not show anything?
No, it's for the MyMathLab, and pretty much like when you sign in, I've only tried it on a tablet. I had problems with it last night, but I haven't tried it on my actual browser yet. But it says your content has been opened in a new browser window, but yeah, I'm not sure what's wrong with that. It doesn't show anything on an iPad. It's just blank where you can see, like on the side, it'll say my courses, course home,
Okay,
assignments, like nothing will show up.
I'm not that familiar with iPad, but I am familiar with different computers. Are you sure that you don't have that little like red X, like you're blocking the site or the content, or like you're blocking the cookies? Because you may have to enable cookies on there,
Maybe.
because it is a trustworthy site. But I was just letting you know. So if you want to be absolutely sure that it's maybe the iPad, if you do it on another computer, just to see if it'll work. And if it works on that other computer, then
Yeah.
you know it has to be something dealing with the iPad configuration. And then someone said here that they had the same problem, but they had to enable cookies and refresh the page. Okay, now I do see a question
Yeah.
from River Campbell. What is your question?
Yes, sorry that I'm just now joining the other class let out a bit early.
That's fine.
I'm not going to be able to join most of these discussions because they run the exact same time frame. But my question was, and I'm hoping I misunderstood it. Do we only have 2 days to complete the assignments from
No,
they're
I said
assigned
it
on
just
Tuesday and
depends
then
on
due
the
on Thursday?
assignment. Yeah, it just
Okay. Because I was looking at section 1 and it looks like most of them are due
okay. Well, like
on
I said,
Thursday.
it just depends on the assignment. Now, I would say this because this is our first class period.
Okay.
I'm more than likely I'm going to adjust the dates that some of these assignments are due, and I'm just saying during week 1. But if an assignment is due within 2 days, most likely the assignment can be completed in the 2 days. But if it can't be, it's no problem. Just reach out to me. I'll look at the assignment, I'll make an assessment, and if I feel what you're saying is, accurate, that you may need more time, then I change it, may change the date, but I will let you know immediately if I change the date or not.
Okay, because I was trying to do I did the pre-quiz earlier today. I didn't do so well on it, and so I have to go through each of the homework assignments for practice. And that's given that everything had a 1 day, 12 hours remaining on it, that's a lot of work to do in that small amount of time frame. And I was
Okay, you're talking
getting pretty
about some of the
overwhelmed with it.
assignments on My Math Lab, or are you talking about in Jet? You're talking in JetNet or
Math lab, yes.
My Math Lab?
Because I hopped in Math Lab and I know maybe I'm basing it
Oh,
off of the
yeah.
learning check
Then let me
actually.
go.
Is that says 1 day, 4 hours remaining on it as of now. So how does I wasn't here earlier. Can
Okay,
you
the learning
explain the
checks,
learning
you're
checks
going
to
to
me
have
real
either
quick?
2 sources for the learning check. You're either going to do the learning check on a worksheet or you're going to come directly out the textbook. And I will let everyone knows that shows up to the course. I will let you know which is which. But if you're not here, like if you're not able to make it to the course, I will say it on the video. And just like right now, I'm recording a video right now as
Okay.
we're talking through the class. So all of this,
Okay. And I should be able to watch these
yes,
like
yes, you should be able
after
to.
they're over, right?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So the learning checks are based off of the
No, they're
Big Blue
based off
Button
of the
sessions then.
textbook or some worksheets.
Oh, okay.
Now, as far as the assignment, as far as me telling you
Okay.
which one to do, then yes, you will find it out from the Big Blue Button session, whether you're going to do the worksheet or whether you're going to work out of the book. Okay. So you follow what?
Okay. So I see the first learning check is due Thursday, and then the one after
Okay.
is due
Well, I
Friday.
told the class earlier that I was
So,
going to change that date for the learning checks for this week.
which one?
Well, I didn't let them know
Okay,
yet because I don't know how
to
far
what?
we're going to make it through today. Because if we're able to finish some of the lesson today, I may make the learning
Okay.
check due, maybe a day later. But if we're not able to get through any of the lessons today, then I may have to make it due like maybe Friday instead of Thursday. So that's why I haven't gave a date yet.
Okay, and then the My Math Lab assignments, those have a lot less time strenuous frames on them, right?
Well, I would just say
They're a lot
this.
more
You would just
manageable.
have to look at the dates of them because just because it has a further date doesn't mean that it's going to be more manageable because it could be more work. So, but I'll just say this: if you're just
Okay.
looking date wise, yes, the dates are more spread out in my math lab than on JetNet. Okay.
Okay. And that the thing that we need to do in my math lab, so we don't get if we don't do it within a certain time to where we may get removed. That's the
Wait a minute, say that
lockdown
one more
browser
time.
check, correct? The one thing that you labeled out, and I think you spoke about it just a few minutes ago, was there was something that we need to do to prevent, or if we don't do it, rather, I'm sorry,
That's
there's the
correct.
possibility that we will get removed from the class. That's
Yes,
the
yes, because see, I
lockdown
need to
browser
know
test,
because your
correct?
exams are based upon whether or not you can use Respondus, which is the lockdown browser. So I need to know, by the 20th, if you could use the lockdown browser. Because if I don't know that, then I would not know which way to test you. So that is why that is so important. But hold on, there are other
Okay.
students that have questions here that I have to answer real quick. Let me answer those. Oh, okay.
I'm good with
Okay,
like questions for now
let me
anyways.
see. What is it? Oh, okay, that time zone was answered. Yes, we're in the Eastern time zone. Um, Someone asked, it says, so if we work out the book on assignments, we wouldn't have to scan it in, just complete it in my math lab. No. For the learning checks, if you work out of the book, you will have to scan the book. You have to scan the work that you did in the book and then still upload it. Did I answer your question? Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, so now the next one, what are we supposed to wait? Are we supposed to have a physical book? Okay, yes, you are. As far as wait a minute. Uh
Yeah, I'm also confused because I'm connected to my math lab, but I don't have a book and I don't see a way to
okay.
get
All right. So
access
this
the actual book either.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I didn't know there was a book. I just thought it was
okay,
my math lab. I
now
don't
I
know.
think I may have said this earlier, or if I did not, I apologize. But the bookstore is supposed to be sending books out to you all. It's just that they're a little backed up right now.
Oh, okay.
They're
I thought you meant,
no, no, no.
I'm sorry, I thought you
Someone, when
meant an
I had
email,
said that the bookstore is
like the
going to
code.
send you all books, someone had said they got their My Math Lab code in an email. Right. Not the physical book, but they
Oh,
are
okay.
supposed to
Okay.
send you
Yeah.
all. Yeah, they are supposed to send you all
Oh,
the
that makes sense. Okay.
So we need to go to a
you
bookstore to grab said
you
book,
can
or
you
are they
can
being shipped
try.
to us
You can
individually?
go to the bookstore. I've heard some people say when they went to the bookstore, they were able to get their materials. And then some students said when they went to the bookstore that the bookstore told them that they were backlogged, that they would have to send it out, ship it to them a little later. So you can try it and see whether or not they may have it.
So it sounds like that either way we need a
Wait a
test
minute,
by
you
going
said
to the
either way
bookstore in order
what?
to get it, whether or not it has to be sent to us later. From what I'm understanding is either way we need to go to the bookstore and see if we can get it, because the way you made it sound like is that for them to be able to send it to us
No,
if they're
no,
backlogged, we
that's
have to
not what
go
I'm
there in
saying.
person to
They
set
are
that up.
supposed to send it.
We
They
switched.
are supposed to send
Okay.
it to you. But what I'm saying is some students went there before it was received at their home. They went there and they were able to get the book. So I'm assuming that they were crossed off of the list because they have a list of all of the students that are taking these classes. It said that books are now all digital. We pay $50 for each code. Wait a second. Hold on. Because I don't. Hmm. Yes,
It's called
I know about
Bibly use
BibliaU,
something.
but I thought you all were allowed to get the
Okay.
physical textbook. So if
Okay.
not, what I'll do, I'll find out from the bookstore myself because I'm gonna be on campus tomorrow. But I'm teaching other math courses and they are sending them course packs. So maybe it is a little different because our class does not have a course pack. We do have a textbook. So maybe it is that it's going to be all digital because it's a textbook. So
You can also call the bookstore, and if they have it, they'll send it next day, or they'll put you on
okay,
a
good.
list and send it as soon as they get it in.
You
I
said
don't
what?
understand why we weren't priority though. You know, I said I don't understand like why we weren't priority. Like, you know, we should have
Okay,
been,
hold on one
I
second.
guess,
Let me
sent
let me
like a week
back
ago.
everything up here because I didn't know we were going to talk about the book. But let me explain this. They are not making you all not a priority. You all may not know this, but we end up switching companies this semester. And so it's a lot of different procedures with this company. This is the first time that Jackson is working with this company. So there are going to be some hiccups here and there. But we're going,
This is actually why my other class let out early, is because they were caught
right,
off guard by the whole
right.
textbook issue as well.
Well, it's
So
not
they were unprepared.
unprepared because that makes it sound like
Well, yeah, but the book, either way, the books were ordered and
that's fine.
we were able
But
to continue with
like
the
I said,
classes.
since it's
My point to
new,
that.
just like with anything, anytime you get something new, there are some hiccups with it. So what I would do tomorrow, or you can as well, Aaliyah has provided the bookstore phone number in the chat, and you all can call and inquire about the textbook yourself. Because I would tell you this, I know some books are all digital. Some books are. So if you want a physical copy, you may have to pay a little extra for the physical copy. So I'm just, wiring you up just in case that is, if that is the case, that you have to pay a little extra for the physical copy. So I would just call the bookstore and find out. But like I said, you will have a way of having this book because technically, like I said, with my math lab, you will have the e-text. So we do have the textbook, you just don't physically have it in your hand. Okay, it says, can you confirm the name of the math book? Okay, well, I will confirm it when I show you how to access the textbook from my math lab. Okay. Okay. All right. So with that being said, we have the assignments here, and now I'm going to go. We just went over the due dates. The due dates are off to the side here. And then now we want to go to the textbook. You could click on Video and Resource Library under My Math Lab. And when you click here, this is the textbook. It's called Mathematics in Action. And it's here. It's MIA, Mathematics in Action, Algebraic, Graphical, and Trigonometric Problem Solving. It's the 6th edition. So that is the name of the textbook. Now, as far as you accessing the e-textbook, you could click here and go to the chapter. We're in chapter 1. And then we could go to the section. We'll be in 1.1, the activity parking problems. And you would click on multimedia textbook and click find now. Now, when you have this here, you will scroll down and it has another link that you would click. And it will take you to the section in the textbook. So this is exactly how the textbook looks on the inside. So what I typically would do as far as your navigating, I believe it's page 7 that I would want to go to. I will show you how to skip through a little faster, but right now, let me get to page 7. Okay, here we go. All right, so our first activity here with page 7 will start here at the bottom. And the problems that I will have you all complete are 1 through 9 odd, only the odd problems. So you will only do 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, which will only be 5 problems. So if you're doing the problems out of the textbook, I will have you all break off into breakout rooms. You will be working with your group. Myself and Aaliyah, we will be going from group to group, and we will be answering any questions that you all may have. And then I will give you all a time limit on how long you have for the assignment. And once the time limit is over, we'll all meet back together. And then I will take any questions that you have on any of the problems. And if you don't have any questions, I'm still going to go over all of the problems, or I would say the majority of the problems, not necessarily all of them, but the majority of the problems. So if you did have some questions or you did get some of the problems incorrect, it would be demonstrated on how it's done. Now with these learning checks, I grade learning checks on completion more so than if it's right or wrong. The right or wrong assignments that you would have mainly would be your exams and your projects. But your learning checks is basically for you to learn where you may need some help. So all I need to basically see is that you're making an effort to do the work in order for you to get the credit. Does everyone follow that? Okay, now if it turns out that for this class that we only have the e-text, like for instance, if you have to pay extra for the regular textbook, what you would do as far as the assignment is concerned, you would just take a separate sheet of paper and then write out the number and then show your work. And then you would scan your separate sheets of paper and then turn that in. But if you do have the textbook and you're able to work in the textbook, then those would be the pages that you would scan. Does everyone follow that? I said that
Could you
if it
repeat that,
turns out
please?
that we only have an e-text, then what you would do is take a separate sheet of paper and you would write out your answers, your work and your answers on that separate sheet of paper, and then scan that sheet of paper and turn it into on JetNet. But if we actually have a physical textbook, then you will write all of your information in the textbook and then scan the information you wrote in your textbook and upload it to JetNet. Okay. All right. So
Okay.
with that being said, I guess we'll find out either by Thursday which route we would go, whether it's going to be separate sheet of paper or you will be able to write in a physical textbook. So we should all know that by this coming Thursday. All right, so that is basically it for the textbook. Now, I want to tell you basically how a typical class will go, because of course our class is a little different now because this is our first day meeting. So I have to tell you how the class is going to be set up. Okay, let's just say for today's sake, let's say that we're not going to be able to get to section 1.1 today. Okay, so if we're not going to be able to get to section 1.1 today, what I would have you do by Thursday, I will have you watch videos on sections 1.1, Well, we're supposed to complete from 1-1 to 1-4 this week. Okay, so before the next class, you are to watch the videos that's discussing the material for the next class. So let's just imagine that everything went perfect today and we were able to get through sections 1, 1, and 1, 2. Okay, so when we meet on Thursday, we're supposed to go over sections 1, 3, and 1, 4. So what you would do is you'd be like, okay, next class, we're supposed to look at sections 1, 3, and 1, 4. So you would come here, you would do your chapter 1, you would go to 1, 3, and then you would click video. And then you would click find now. And then you would go down here and you always only click on the first video. You don't click on the ones below it because the ones below it are actually all in this first video. So you will click on the video. You will watch the video. And then if you have any questions when you come to class, then you can ask the questions on the video, because that is where you're going to get your formalized introduction to the section. When you get to class with me, you're supposed to be past the introductory part, whereas we could really just start getting into the work. So like I said, like it'll be 1, 3, and 1, 4. So you'll click on 1, 4 after you're done with 1, 3. Go to find now, still on video, click on the first video, and then watch that video as well. And then you will be able to bring your questions to class. And what I'm going to do the first 5 to 10 minutes of class, I will ask you all that you all have any questions on the videos or that upcoming section. If you do, then I will gladly answer those questions. But if it's only like a few of you that may have the questions, I will put everybody else in a breakout room to start working on the learning checks, which is basically our group work for the class. And then I will place anyone that had the questions into a group so they can also work on the learning checks. Does everyone follow that? Okay. Now, one other thing with this multimedia resource or multimedia library, there are a lot of different resources here. Say the video doesn't work for you, you can do a PowerPoint. They have a PowerPoint, they have animation, they have learning activities that you could get as well that can help you with that. But also, like I said, we can you can ask any questions that you deem necessary during our class. Now, the question was asked here, does everyone have their e-text? Now, as far as your e-text from BibliU, you will need to check BibliU to see if you have the e-text from them. If you do not, again, you have the e-text here in My Math Lab. Does everyone follow that?
I'm sorry. Will you show me again how to get to the book in
Okay.
My Math Lab, the e-text?
Okay.
I think I don't see that
Are you on
option.
My Math Lab right now? Okay. Do you see down the side where it says
Yes.
Video and Resource Library? Click on that.
Yes.
Okay. Do you get this screen?
Okay.
Here?
Let me go back. Okay.
Okay. Do you get that screen?
Okay.
Okay. Now, once you get the screen, you will click to the chapter you want to go to. We're in chapter 1. You'll click on 1, and then you'll click on the section. Our section here will be 1.1. Now, what you have to click on is multimedia textbook.
Okay.
Click find now. And then right here below it, you'll click on 1.1 parking problem. And then the text will come up. Well, it's going to take a little bit. I guess my internet is slow, but and this is the e-text. Yeah. So
Okay.
so
And our assignment is like it's in there, or is it like on a different section? Like, or are we supposed to do the worksheet? I'm sorry.
I said, like, if I assign it out of the textbook, I would give you the page number. And then, like here, if I was going to do 1-1, the page number would actually be page 7. So you would go to page 7.
Right. Right. I have that written down. I was just wondering if so we do the problems out of the book, and then there's also problems in the
Right,
assignment
but
column on my math
okay,
lab, correct? Okay.
hold on 1 second.
And then the
With
worksheet.
and you
Sorry.
know what? I think to make this a little easier, I think what I'm going to do is just scratch giving you all problems out of the textbook. I think I'm gonna just go strictly with the worksheets from JetNet because that would be a lot cleaner and easier to do. So with that being said, this is where you would get the e-text. But I will go back here to JetNet just to go back over this. When you come down here to week 1 or any of the weeks, at week 1 where we have our learning check, you will click here and then it will have the worksheet here. So I would just have you all click on this worksheet. You will more than likely have to print it out. And then what you would do is you will work on this worksheet with your group mates. And then if there are any questions, I will go to the textbook to find similar problems to help you with those questions. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I printed that out today. I was just wondering if we were still supposed to do it, but you said that since we didn't get through, like with basically everything we should have today, to watch the videos of 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4 on the textbook.
That's what I was saying
for Thursday.
earlier, and I'll reiterate that. Because today, now I'm not saying that we didn't get to what we should have, because I usually like to take this first day to answer all questions, because the reason why I like doing it this way is because if we constantly keep having questions all the way through the semester, we're going to constantly have interruptions that would push us further back. So that is why I took this time with this first class to go over everything and take all of your questions. So with that being said, by me taking this time out, that did take away a little time. So you will have to do just a little extra work as far as watching the videos. And as you saw, the longest video that was on there for the section was like only about 5 or 6 minutes. So at the most, with 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, and 1-4, you may have like 24 minutes that you need to watch between now and Thursday.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just trying to figure out what was going to be due on Thursday.
Necessarily directing that to you. I'm directing that to everybody, so everybody will understand what needs to be done.
Okay, so have the worksheet ready for Thursday,
okay.
right? And then watch the videos.
Back here. I want you to watch the videos 1-1 through 1-4 by Thursday's class. Okay, on Thursday, we're going to work on worksheets 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, and 1-4 if possible. If we can work on all the worksheets, we're going to work on them. They will not have to be done at that time. They will be due. I think I'm going to change the due date for all of those worksheets to Sunday. Just for this week, I'm going to change the due dates for 1-1 through 1-4 to Sunday. So it's no problem. So on Thursday, we're going to work through those worksheets. Whatever we don't get done on Thursday, then you will have until Sunday to get the rest of it done. And then once that's done, then you will upload all of those by Sunday. Does everyone follow that? Okay.
Yes, I do have a quick question. You say you're going to put people into breakout rooms. How's
What do you
that
think?
going to work for me exactly? Because I'm not going to be able to join these discussions. So how do I
Okay,
just
well,
lose out on
so
that participation
Mr.
altogether?
Campbell, this is how this is going to go. If you are not able, and I'll just say this for people watching the video, um, and I'm not directing this to you. I'm just saying anybody. If you come to class a little later, I may have to tell you to watch the video because I'm basically reteaching the exact same thing that I went over earlier in the class, and that's kind of cut into the new stuff that we need to get to. But I'm just saying that for future
Okay.
reference. But to answer your question, the
Mhm.
synchronized sessions are not required. So if you are not in class to be in the breakout rooms to work on the worksheets, you will have to do the worksheets on your own. You will have to go to JetNet on your own and look at the due dates. And then you will have to complete the worksheets and upload them yourself. And then that will take care of, because I
Okay.
actually said that earlier in the class. I guess it was before you got here, that if you're not here, no, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
I
So you have a
apologize.
right to ask that question. But I'm just letting you know that if you're not here, you're not going to be penalized for not being in the breakout room. The only time you will be penalized is if you do not turn in those worksheets.
I didn't think I was going to be penalized. I just was wondering if I was just going to have to work on my
Oh
own
yeah,
or if I
yeah,
was going to
you
have to
would,
get a
yeah,
study
you would
group
have to
around.
work
That's
on
all
it
I
on
was
your own and
wondering.
do a study group. But one other thing, and then I'm gonna let Aaliyah introduce herself, and then I'm going to wrap up after Aaliyah. When we are in breakout rooms, the recording stops. We do not record while people are in the breakout room. So for those students who are not able to make it to the class, when the students are in the breakout room, I'm not going to have the recording going because it does not record in the breakout room. But when we come out of the breakout room and then I start going over the material, then you will see that I will record that part. But I cannot record once we go into the breakout rooms. You say what?
Same as Zoom then. Okay.
Yes,
I
yes,
said
right.
same
Yeah,
as
I can't
Zoom
record.
then.
And then, in a way, I'm glad that I can't record being in a breakout room because, people working with each other, you want to feel safe that, what you're saying, might not get out there because no one
Yeah.
wants to be embarrassed or criticized or anything like that. So I'm kind of glad we can't record inside the breakout room, So Aaliyah, can you introduce yourself and let everyone know what you do?
Interrupting. um, so I'm Aaliyah. I'm here as an SI. That's kind of like a built-in
You are now
tutor
muted.
thing for the course. I'm here to support you guys. I'm gonna send out like a remind, if you want to join that, as well as a Google form for when's a good time for a study group, um, weekly. So that will be able to see like everybody's scheduling and what time works best for everybody. And yeah, I'm just a support system here. So if you're ever feeling lost or you just want to talk about math, I'm here. So there's that. And I have a Remind too. So like if you have the Remind app as well. And I can probably email that to everybody as well. But yeah, that was about all that I was gonna get into. Just about how I'm here as a support system.
Okay.
You are now
Real quick,
unmuted.
Mr. Gibson, before you start up again, I just want to let you know that me joining these sessions is not something that will probably happen unless my main class gets let out. They happen to let out, so that's why I was able to join, thankfully, because I had questions. But I just want to let you know, that's why I'm asking so many questions, is because I'm not going to have,
Oh,
most likely won't have the
that's
opportunity
fine.
to
But I
ask
was
them in the
just saying,
future.
because you notice I did answer all of your questions. I have no problem with that. But I was just saying, like,
Yeah,
for
I
future
appreciate
reference,
that.
because we have a lot of work to cover in this class. And I've just like, now, this is what I would do. Like, okay, just say, for instance, let's say your class lets out a little early one night and you're able to come to the session and you still have a lot of questions. What I probably would do so that I would be able to answer your questions is have everyone else go to a breakout room first and then, just talk with you before I put you in a breakout room to answer all of your questions. And it wouldn't be it wouldn't be to single you out. It'd be just
Oh,
so that
okay.
I could fully answer all your questions. And then, you would be able to go and get into a breakout room and work and work after that. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I
Okay.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, it was something else. Oh, yes. Someone asked if we touched on Desmos. We actually did early on in the video, but it's another video that I have too that's Desmos as well. So you can either watch this video over or look at the Desmos video that I have on JetNet. So before we leave today, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of you all are exhausted with all this information that has been put out here. I would like to know, does anyone have any other questions about anything? Okay.
I have one.
Well, oh, go ahead.
So we should be working on watching those videos for 1.1 to 1.4, and then we should also be in math lab, I'm guessing, starting that pre-assessment check. Because if we do bad on that, then we'll have 37 homework questions,
let
basically.
me go back here to my math lab to make sure that I'm understanding what assignment you're talking about. You're talking about this assignment, the pre-assessment. Okay.
Yep. Yes,
Let
sir.
me let me just say
Yep,
this
we
to
should
you.
start that
The
because those
pre-assessment,
questions.
the homework, the pre-assessment and the homework are not required. They're not required. The only thing that's required for my math lab is this preparation for the exams, the lockdown browser, any quizzes that you see, and the exams. That's it. Those are the only things that's required. Now,
Okay,
the
gotcha.
pre-assessment, the homework, and anything outside of what I just told you was required, those are there just for practice.
Yes. And then I remember reading on the syllabus that if you do the homework, it goes into some sort of grading at the end of the semester,
If you do
right?
the homework.
You, like on the syllabus I was reading, I remember seeing that the homework was optional, but when you talked about like dropping your lowest score, that was something that referred to like if you did the
Okay,
homework,
let me take a look at that.
it said something about that.
Talking about my lowest.
Yeah, I could be wrong. Let me pull up
Okay,
the
let me
syllabus again.
know where you find that at, because I don't recall having that, but it
Okay.
could be there. Okay. All right. Someone else had a
Yeah.
question while the
Okay.
young lady. Oh, did I answer your questions on the other ones aside from that last one? Okay. It was another
Yes, you did.
person who had, I think, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. You said other than starting to work and being prepared for the next class, nothing else is due before Thursday. Yes, that is correct. Nothing else is due before Thursday. Okay, now one other thing, please, class, please. I'm asking you this here. That preparation for the exams, the lockdown browser, please take that before the 20th. Please don't wait till the 19th and then finally decide to take it. As soon as you could do it, please do it, because that will assist as far as you knowing whether or not you can access the Respondus lockdown browser. And I'm not telling you to do it now, but I'm just saying just don't wait to the last minute.
Is that going to explain exactly how the exams are going to be taking
As
place?
far as I know, well, let me take a look at it. That's fine. Let's start test. Yeah, I'll just pull it
I
up
haven't done it
because
yet,
it
but I was
says
just
you have
curious.
unlimited attempts, so it doesn't matter if you see it now. I'm not going to like give the answers away, but it says here you may open Desmos during the exam. You may open the formula sheet during the exam. Are you ready to begin the exam? I'm going to put yes. Okay, it says find the value of the expression. And then, you just type that in. Let's see how many. Oh, it doesn't let you go. Oh,
It says submit test, so I think that's the only question.
yeah. Yeah, it's only the 2 questions. Okay, so that's very
Oh,
simple.
that's it.
So
Okay.
please don't wait. You said what?
I just saw the, I'm sorry. I said I just saw the time frame on it, so I thought maybe it was like an informational thing about kind of like what settings we need to be in for that, but
Right. It's just
that's
really just
different from what I was
basically
expecting. All right.
seeing if you can use the lockdown browser. Right. So if you could use the lockdown browser,
Okay.
then that lets us know. Now, look here. If you notice here, you did like here, I got 100% on this. If you notice here, my overall score is still a 0%. That's telling you that this exam does not affect your grade in the sense of it being graded. It can affect whether or not you stay in the class
Gotcha.
or not.
And for the final exam, what kind of environment will we be in? Or did you already cover that? Because you've already covered it.
Oh,
I
well,
can just review the
that's a quick answer. You will have 2
review.
separate final exams. One final exam would be similar to the Desmos projects, and then the other final exam would be taken on My Math Lab, like your chapter exams. Yeah.
Okay. And I noticed that in the syllabus, it stated something about how we might have to take a recording of our
Depending on
surroundings.
like Respondus, depending on also if I have to proctor the test for you. Like for instance, say Respondus won't work on your computer. I may have to proctor the test, and then I would have to have you show me your surroundings, and then Respondus may. Right, right.
Okay.
Respondus is the
Respondus
lockdown
is the
browser.
lockdown browser, right? Okay. Okay. So
Right,
we don't have to do that
right.
as long as
Now let me
Respondus is
let me
working.
retract that. Respondus may ask you to do that, but it will be in the
Okay.
course of you doing the assignment. Like you wouldn't have to take out your own special recorder, because remember with Respondus, you have to have a webcam. So whatever that webcam is, you just rotate that webcam
Okay.
around your area, and then that would be the recording. So it wouldn't be anything. Okay, someone asked the
Okay.
questions. When are we doing the Desmos? Where do we get the information to put on the project? Okay, this is in the syllabus, but I'm going to show you where on the syllabus it is. I guess once, oh, here we go. All right, when you go to the syllabus, you see where we had a calendar. It's on page 12. After the calendar, then you see the Desmos project starting on page 14, but the actual assignments start on page 15. It has the Desmos project, it has the due date. And you have to make sure that it's, because project 1 is due September 3rd. Now I may have to change that date because of, you know, we're going to push some things back because of this first class period. So I may make that due Sunday as well, but all the other dates will remain the same. So we have this here. If you notice, we have, 4 questions for the Desmos project, and I may make it due the 5th, but all you have to do next class period, which would be September 2nd, all you have to do is just remind me about changing the date to the 5th if I have not changed it already. Does everyone follow? Okay. Now.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. Desmos project is also available. Yeah, it's also available at the link. I just put it in the syllabus so that it'd be a quick place that you could get it from. Okay, Ms. Curry, did I answer your question?
Yes, that's what I was wondering. I set everything up. I figured out how to go in, and I followed your tutorials prior to class. I just have to go back and digitally click on the links or look at the syllabus to actually be able to answer the questions inside of Desmo.
Do we have to record our voices?
Okay.
Now, yes, on some of the Desmos projects. Yes, you do have a voice recording that you would have to do, but there are some sites you could go to where you would be able to, if you don't have that capability, there are some sites that would allow you to record. So yes, but it's not all the Desmos project. Probably out of 30, it might be, and I'm doing this on the high side, it might be 6 or 7. But I think it's even less than that you would have to record your voice. Any other questions?
Yes, I found what I was talking about on the syllabus with dropping the lowest exam. It's on page 4. Yeah. It says under My Math Lab homework, the bullet point, it says at the end of the semester, your lowest exam score can be replaced with your homework average if applicable.
Because homework is optional and it's not applicable as far as being replaced with your homework average. But typically, now I'm not saying this, I'm going to see how the class go. But a lot of times I will drop your lowest exam score, not your final, but I'm saying your regular, one of your regular 5-chapter exams. I usually would drop the lowest exam score, but I would let you all know that probably, after exam 3, if I'm going to drop your lowest exam score. So it wouldn't be tied to the homework. It'd just be dropped.
So
and your grade would be formed out of the other 4 exams. Right. So it's not.
Okay. So that bullet point doesn't apply then. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Thank you.
I have a question. Let's say math isn't our strongest suit, and we have to go through the homework for extra practice. The way you have the class set up, or the way you wish to have the class set up, will we have time to be able to do that and still have everything due on time, as well as being in other classes and having to do things for them? I'm wondering if we want to get extra practice in to make sure that we do well on the tests and quizzes, do we
Well, what
actually
you
have
asked is
time in the
kind of
time
a
frame to be
complicated
able to do
question.
that?
It just depends on you. Because remember, that's extra practice. That's just like with any class.
Okay.
Let's just take, let's say, take Spanish. Let's say you were taking Spanish and you were given the assignments that you're required to do in the class. And then your Spanish teacher told you, well, you could go to this website and, you know, learn more Spanish to help you. You would have to budget your time to be able to do that. And that's the same thing with math. You would have to budget your time to do that. That's something extra. So it's not built in, and you would have to figure out how to make yourself have enough time. Yeah. It says, do we get? Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Now, so given this homework aside, are there, I assume following the book would probably be
Well,
the
the
main way to learn the
videos,
material then?
the videos, the book,
Okay,
myself,
video.
your group mates,
Okay.
and also the SI. We would have, oh, you know what, I forgot. Okay.
Okay.
What I just described, that's for like if you attend the class, you will have all of those resources. But if you're not able to attend the synchronized sessions, then what would end up happening is you still would have the videos.
Mhm.
You still would have the videos that I create that I'll be doing the problems with. The only issue is if you don't have time to meet me during my office hours, you wouldn't be able to ask questions, you know, with the work that I'm doing. Do you follow that? So you would kind of have me
Right.
and kind of have Alea too, because I know Alea is going to bring some dynamics to the class as well. But the issue would be as far as being able to access questions. Like you would be able to see it on a video, but not be able to necessarily
Yeah.
ask questions unless you email the questions. Now, if you email the questions, I would try my best to answer your questions as well.
Okay. Now, just following through the normal course material, would that give
It's
sufficient
kind
enough
of
practice, would you
okay.
say?
I'll just tell you like this, and I like to give an answer that I
Okay.
would want given to me. If math is not your strong suit,
Okay.
it depends on how much of it not being your strong suit that would determine if all of this is good enough for you as far as you being able to do the content. Because if you're
Okay.
really nervous about it or you really have a struggle with it, unless you go and get a lot of extra services with it, it may not be enough. You know, so it just really depends on you. Now, personally, it's kind of hard for me to answer that because of
Okay.
my math background. I mean, I could sit up here and say yes. I mean, that's a lot, you know, this, that, and the other,
Right.
but I'm basing that off of my math background. But what you would have to do is just feel your way through it. And if you feel it's
Gotcha.
not enough, then you can reach out to me or Leah, and we could possibly maybe send you some other resources that may be able to help you if you're not able to come to the synchronized sessions or office hours. Okay. Now, oh, you're welcome.
Okay.
Someone asked about
Thank you.
study guides. Well, a lot of the assignments will be like your study guides, like the learning checks, and then I may provide, you know, some practice exams or, you know, some other type of materials that will help you. But a formalized study guide, I'm not sure as far as every exam. So everything we do weekly will be exactly on a test. No, I can't say that because let me just tell you this. Whenever you take a college course, it is assumed that the requirements that you needed to fulfill to get to that course you're supposed to know that in addition to what you get in the course. So it may be some concept that we don't cover during the week that may come from a different math class. Like for instance, let's just take order of operations. Okay, we're not going to formally go over order of operations in chapter 1, but it's assumed if you're in intermediate algebra, you're supposed to know order of operations. So you may have a problem that requires order of operations that we didn't formally cover, but because you're in the intermediate algebra class, you're supposed to know it. Do you follow what I'm saying to you? Okay.
Sorry, I had it muted. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's just like some, I guess, I don't know, I'm older, so I haven't had it in years. And then the one that I did take, that I passed finally, like it didn't count. But I'm also in the South too. I know like math is the same, but it's changed over the last 15 years.
Are you talking about Common
I don't
Core?
know. I mean, I hope that it's
Are
just
you
like
talking about Common Core?
we kind of go over everything. Huh?
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
I
not doing
don't know
Common Core in this
the
class.
new math way, but
Yeah, so
okay. I was just making sure everything we do weekly was going to be on there, but you
yes,
said like something that we didn't go over
no,
maybe on
as
it.
far as from a
Yeah, I
previous
don't.
class.
Oh
You're not
God.
going to be slammed with something that's above the class or the section we're in. It'll be something either lower than this class or exactly where we're at. It's never going to be something like for instance, there's a calculus term called a derivative. I'm not going to throw a derivative on the test and we didn't cover that, and that's above this math. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm just I'm kind of below this math, or like I'm relearning everything. It did not stick with me. Science, wonderful. Math, I've got it's hard, but I booked a tutor. I just I just wanted to kind of make sure I knew everything before
Oh
taking
yes, you would.
the test. Like I kind of just need like
I would just say
a
this,
plan.
and
Or,
this
like
is the
I don't
best way I
know.
could put it. You will be adequately prepared for the exam. And when I say that adequately prepared, is based upon the requirements for the course. The only thing on the exam will be the material that we covered, plus possibly the information you're supposed to have that got you to this class. So it'll be the information we covered, plus possibly any information that you learned before you actually got to this class. It's not going to be anything past what you learned in this class.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. Some people are kind of, coming from like high school, and I'm like 30, so I haven't taken it since like 2015.
Okay.
And then before that 2007. So
Well, that's fine. I mean,
I'm just
myself and
a little
Alea, we're
rusty,
here
so
to help you. And I'm pretty sure that when you get into your breakout rooms, your classmates will be here to help you as well. Okay. Did anyone,
sounds
Alea put
good.
in the availability form for the SI session that she will hold. So please make sure that if you can't fill it out now, copy it and paste it somewhere so you can fill it out a little later. Okay. Were there any other questions? Oh, also, Alea, is there a deadline that you would like for them to fill the form out by?
If that could be by the end of the week, maybe
Which
by
is
9/5,
Sunday.
September 5th.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
either Sunday or Monday. Yeah, I don't
All right.
remember. Yep. Yeah, we're having hope. So math is really fun, and we can
Are
make it
there
fun.
any other questions? Okay, now I know that we're here a little, was 7:58. Our class technically ends at 7:50, but I was just all here answering any of your questions. I hope that this class has been helpful to you all as far as getting you started. But like I said, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask the questions. Okay, do you all have any parting questions or anything?
I just want to go over what we need to do until Thursday. You want us to watch the videos, get, I assume, get the learning checks ready, as in getting them prepared for Thursday, as well as
Well, it was watching the video.
there's one other thing, wasn't there?
Watch the videos from section 1.1 through 1.4. And then as far as the learning checks are concerned, when you say getting them ready, I'm saying at least have them printed out. And then we will work on them in class on Thursday. And then you will have until Sunday to scan them and turn them in. And that's basically it by Thursday. And also, you all need to sign up for Desmos, because your Desmos project, the first one, will be due Sunday as well. Okay. So, any other questions? Because if you don't have any more questions, you can hang up and I will see you all on Thursday. But if you have any questions, I'll stick around. Oh, it's no problem, Jordan. It's no problem. That's what I'm here for. Okay.
Thank you, Professor Gibson. Did you want anything from me? Should I stay after a little bit?
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll see the rest of you on Thursday. Unless you have another question. Nah. See you Thursday. Okay. All right. Let me stop the recording.